Hi everybody, it's Denny with my YouTube channel Why Is This True? And I'm back at the digs where we sleep in 29 Palms, and the Wi-Fi connection issue and the fact that there's no way to recharge phones there was the deal killer for me doing any more live streams from there. So I managed to get one, but it was pretty pixelated, and I frankly didn't have time to really check it out. I don't think it came out pretty good. I think you can hear most of it. But that was after I kind of tried it as a last ditch effort. But they did give me a Wi-Fi connection there. They tried, but I think the bandwidth is just consumed. There's so many people there. I couldn't even get a hotspot. I grabbed a hotspot with my cell phone and my smartphone, and I did a speed test on it. It was like 490 kilobits per second, and I need like 2 megabits, I think, for it to work. So both of the methods that I have for using for this were kind of like not an option. And it's crowded, and there's no power, and so anyway, I got, it was very difficult to do it there. But so I posted pictures and did some of that. But it really is a whirlwind. I think there's right around 2,000 people there. It's less than what me and some of my friends were expecting. But a really nice group, and the prison. I don't know if you looked on the website, but check out the Contact in the Desert website. I mean, they got tons of speakers, and there's something going on everywhere. There's no way you can take it all in, and it's filled up with speaker events from like 8:30 in the morning until like 11 at night, and then you can go out and do all this other stuff. So I can see why people keep coming year after year, because there's no way to take it all in. So this morning I saw the panel that was moderated by I can't keep up. Let's see. Yeah, so Friday morning, who was the moderator? Rob Peralta, and so it was a great forum. The one thing I noticed, and it's kind of true throughout all the presentations, the panel presentations and stuff, women are underrepresented, but I think that's kind of characteristic for the whole issue with the secret space program, ufology. There always seems to be some women present, but they're almost always in the minority. So like this morning on the panel, I think there was like seven men and one woman. So it's just that's got to change. It's got to change, but it's kind of slow in coming for my tastes. Let's see. So the panel discussion was pretty good. They have great audio set up. They have some screens that work really good on either side of the stage. I think I posted a picture of one of those where you can see it even in the sunlight. I mean, there's a shaded area where everybody sits outside in the pavilion. What do they call that? They call that the amphitheater. So it has like a shade cloth over it, and they have really good sound. They have the screens on either side that are big. So when they do their PowerPoint presentations off their laptops or whatever, you can see very clearly. It's not washed out with the light. So they went to some trouble to make this a good experience for sure. My biggest complaint, of course, is the Wi-Fi, which I don't know that there would be a way to solve that, because everybody's on their phone, everyone's sucking up bandwidth, and I imagine that's maybe even why the hotspot performance isn't good. I don't know the technology that good, but I could imagine people's cell phones switching to their data plan and then trying to get a link through a cell tower, and everybody and their uncles, uploading pictures and trying to stream video, and so it was crazy. I think I got 490 kilobits per second, which I think is, a fraction of what I need to even do like the simple way or the more complex way that we had to do with live streaming, which was for me to remotely control my computer and then do a Skype conversation, because Skype uses less bandwidth. So the setup for that in the environment there was very problematic, and just with the crowds of people and all the people to meet and people coming up to you and you wanting to meet other people, and so it's kind of has a kind of a reunion feel to it. I did sign up for one of the lower cost workshops with Jacques Vallée, which is going to be 11 o'clock on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to that. He was actually recommended by one of the speakers there, and he was a contemporary of J. Allen Hynek. So, thanks, Anthony. I just got a little message from Anthony. He says the live stream looks good. So, who was the guy who recommended that? So, I must admit that some of these people are new to me. Okay, Mike Barra. He was the one who recommended that we see Jacques Vallée. I had pretty much planned to see Jacques Vallée anyway, because I got his book, and after I did the channeling session with Carl Mollison on J. Allen Hynek, and then I did some reading, I did some research on that, and I found out about the connection with Jacques Vallée. And I think he's writing things, or he had written things a long time ago that I have a sense is kind of corroborating some of the stuff we're learning through the channeling sessions that we're doing with Carl Mollison. So it's got me very intrigued. Jacques Vallée was born in France. He came to the U.S. as an astronomer at the University of Texas, where he co-developed the first computer-based map of Mars for NASA. Jacques later moved to Northwestern University, where he received his doctorate in computer science and served as a close associate of Dr. J. Allen Hynek, the Air Force consultant on UFOs and Project Blue Book. He's investigated reports of UFOs in North America and Latin America, and most notably Argentina and Brazil, as well as Western Europe and Russia, and has written extensively about his findings. So, he's seen this thing from its infant days. So he's got quite a perspective that a lot of us don't have. So I'm looking forward to that. David is prolific. He did a presentation today that we got to see in that amphitheater as well. He kind of moderated a panel discussion in the afternoon from I think 4 to 6, and then he was also part of the panel I think this morning, and he did come up with some new information through his contact Pete Peterson, and they talked about the some of the timelines, the history, a lot of stuff on Antarctica. A lot of it was review, but there was some new stuff, and the new stuff that I do remember, nothing earth-shattering, but the stuff I do remember was about the self-healing metallics and some of the physics behind the metallics, and how some of these metallics can be formed such that they're translucent, much stronger, and self-healing. So he went into some detail about the self-healing characteristics of some of these metals that were used on these alleged ships that are buried under the ice there. So apparently, there's 3 different layers, 3 different ships. He's spending a lot of time corroborating Pete Peters' testimony with what Corey's talking about. Oh gosh, there's so many things I could talk about. I got to see Vivian, who's working with Corey Good's group, and so she was manning a booth there, very busy. I found out a lot of us aren't really getting that good night's sleep. It's kind of endemic to the whole culture, I guess. Or maybe it's going on for a lot of other people. I actually slept pretty good last night, but bang, 2:30, I was up and awake again. And I was awake for another hour or so, but I finally got back to sleep. So I saw Vivian Michelle, I saw Eric Rains, Matt Mornian, Derek Faust. I spent a lot of time with Steve Myers, Hiker Steve from Facebook. Why is this true? Saw Justin, saw Hari, saw Jordan Sather. Jordan and I got some pictures and high five and stuff, and it was good to see him. I hope I get to spend some time with him. I hope he's able to overcome the live streaming issues, because that would be nice to see him reporting from there. He's an interesting fellow. He's young. He's like a shooting star. He's so good at connecting dots, and he could do it on the fly. I mean, the little time I spent with him, I could tell he was really picking up on a lot of interesting things. Oh yeah, so the people sign up for the whole deal. I think it's right around 2,000. So I think it's less than what was expected, but they're doing a bang up job. I think a lot of people don't come to this just because of the heat, but we've been spared in this instance. And actually, it was kind of cool this morning with a little breeze. It did warm up later in the afternoon, but it was really nice day. The food is excellent, and you have to stand in the line. They had some no-shows for the group that came with Prepare for Change. So Danelle had a extra meal ticket, and she swapped it in for a vegetarian one for me. So if you don't mind standing in lines, once you get in there and grab your plate, find a place to sit, the food is great. Another person from our meditation group that used to come back when we started was Janet. I can't remember her last name. Anyway, she runs Ion. She's an organizer with Ions up in Santa Rosa. A real sweet lady. I was very happy to see her. I saw Marion Grace, who I did an interview with about crop circles and some other things. Marion Grace was there. And I met some new people. Mick, a new friend on Facebook. I sat with him for a while. I spent most of my time with Steve Myers. And I also met Ray McCrae, who flew down in his home-built plane. He got a kit, built a plane. Took him like 10 years to build it. He flew it down from Oakland area, and he's at one of the little local airports here. So I got to hang out with him for a bit. He's a big supporter of my channel, and it was really a treat to meet him in person. He's also another guy who's been studying this whole UFO phenomena going back to the late 50s. So he was around and reading Jacques Vallée's first book. When I was a snot-nosed kid in grammar school. When in '58 I was 1 year old. So anyway, gosh, thinking about that, some of these guys I've been meeting that are older than me are in great shape. They're really, really, really holding their own. So anyway, it was really great to meet Ray and spend some time with him. So what else is going on? Another thing, to David's credit, he kind of ended his 4 o'clock moderation presentation thing with a little head nod to the darker aspects of disclosure, which I think he feels is a very necessary component for this. And I didn't go into wasn't able to, it's a very distracting environment for me because there's all these people around, very interesting people. Some of them look familiar. I saw 2 people that would stop me dead in the tracks. I thought it was Michael Rupert. It blew my mind. Michael Rupert, unfortunately, has passed on. He wrote Crossing the Rubicon, a fantastic book. If you like geopolitical disclosure and with a big focus on the U.S. and the drug trade and all that stuff, Michael Rupert's book is amazing. But there was 2 guys there that looked like Michael Rupert, and anyway, it was weird. So I was like rubbernecking around, and I knew there were some people who I'd never seen their face that were supporters of the channel, who I knew were going to be looking for me, but I didn't know what they looked like, and so I had a couple of those experiences. We'd come up, oh look, Denny, and that was a treat. I'm having a lot of fun, as you could tell. So, but I'm not a note taker. And I also spent some time with Jason Quitt, and we're going to try to figure out how to do. I think we're going to end up doing just a recorded interview for me to post later, but. Jason is the publisher of John Titor II's book. There was 2 publishers. I think his name was Mitchell, and he passed away right around the time the book was published. And then Jason, and so I met Jason's new friend, who's also a speaker. I want to say John D'Souza. He's ex-FBI, I think. Anyway, so I had a great conversation. Yeah, John D'Souza. So I met John D'Souza, and I met Jason. I've known Jason online, but I've never met him in person. So So he got embroiled in the John Titor 2 thing in a much more, I don't know how to put it, but it was hard on him, that whole episode. I mean, he came out of it on in a good way, I think, and that's what the interview is gonna be about. If there's some way to live stream it, he's willing to do that, and I would like to do that. It would be very interesting. But it's kind of like the whole John Titor 2 story is like a very extreme version of what can happen in the secret space program with people giving testimonies and stuff. And so he got caught up into that in a very direct, visceral way. I was kind of more on the periphery with the interview that I did with the alleged John Titor 2, who we now know is Dana Stern. So anyway, and there's even more of a backstory on this whole drama. Someday I'll talk about it. I can't get into it. Jason and I are going to get into some aspects of it. In fact, most of what we're going to be talking about is not so much that, but what comes after that. For him personally, and to a lesser extent for me. For me, as I discussed in the 5D meeting that I was invited to, where I was a speaker, it was a lesson early on for me about reveal and forgive, about what that really means. And so it was a good lesson for me. And it's also a very popular interview that I did. It remains a very popular interview. I think it might hold the record for the number of views. If for some reason that you say John Titor and there's a whole segment, demographic within the UFO culture that is so drawn to that name. And I'm sure it has something to do with Art Bell and the fact that it's now 16, 17 years old story with all kinds of twists and turns and different personalities and impersonators and everything. I don't know that anyone has quite risen to the level of this particular John Titor 2, aka Dana Stern. But anyway, you could beat this one to death, but it's kind of a 3D drama that can get you, sucked into an unproductive direction, actually. So yeah, meeting Jason was a real treat, and I passed on some highs from a mutual friend who's been a very big supporter and guide for me on my channel, and she knows who she is, and she lives by a big, huge, beautiful mountain, and I want to wish her the best and let her know that the greetings that she wanted me to pass on to Jason I passed those on to Jason. So and then we found out that Jim Mars, who was supposed to be here, was in the hospital, and so Jimmy Church did a live call for the audience to Jim in the hospital, and it was a very nice exchange. And Laura Eisenhower was also on the stage, and I'm again, I'm kind of a broken record on this, but I really wish they'd given her more of an opportunity to speak. What she did speak about in one instance was just her defending her identity, because people are saying she's not an Eisenhower or something. I can't believe that, but anyway, so she had to spend 10-15 minutes talking about her family connections and why she should believe that she really is Dwight D. Eisenhower's great granddaughter, and it was anyway. She's got so many other things going on and having to talk about that anyway. So I do want to come to one of these conferences where the panel is 6 women and 2 men, and that day will come. I just have to be patient. But the way forward is going to be the goddess energy, and it's just the way it is. We can't keep rolling along with this male paradigm and expect big changes. Big changes are coming, and it's going to embrace that aspect. So it's just my opinion, take it or leave it. But there are some women here that let's see, that are going to get the floor, that are going to be able to speak, and people are going to be able to listen to them. But not a lot. Kim Carlsberg is one. I don't know too much about her. Laura Eisenhower, of course. There's Desiree Hertog, Melinda Leslie, Janet Lesson, who spoke this morning at the first panel. I was really glad to hear what she had to say. It was very good. Linda Moulton Howe, of course. I saw her today. I didn't get to talk to her. Chris Hardy from France. Patty Greer. And Barbara Harris. And Kathleen Marden. And Suzanne Ramsey. And Sherry Weil. And the rest are all men. Which isn't a bad thing. It's a matter of balance. It's a matter of corrective. Just my opinion. The other very impressive speaker today, and he was actually speaking when I had to leave. I had to get back here and do this. Was James Gilliland, and that guy, I have so much respect for him. I don't even know where to start. I wish I had time to delve into all these people like they deserve, but James Gilliland was very impressive, his testimony. Yeah, this is a great experience. I'm so glad I got to come and soak all this in. Oh, I got to meet and speak with Michael Tellinger, and we talked about Ubuntu a little bit. And it's really great because this is an environment where these people aren't remote. You can actually have an exchange with them, and it's very rewarding, and I'm very happy to be able to do that. Of course, I would like to do interviews with them, but they're so busy. And there's another fellow here. I don't know if I have his card. I think I grabbed his card, but I might have to go looking for it. Is this it? No, that's not it. Well, I'll look it up and I'll do it in a future live stream. But he's a fellow who did an interview with Saïda Desalet. And she has a website. She's still active. But he did an interview with her, I think 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago. And it's a keeper. It's so far ahead of the pack. And she's into consciousness transformation using sex and a whole lot of other things. Mostly her work is about empowering women and getting women in touch with their bodies. And she's a very interesting woman. In fact, some people may remember that she was invited to join the Why Is This or the Stillness in the Storm group, and she lasted for a little while, but unfortunately, trolls or whatever, just people kind of piled on, and it turned out to be not a very good experience for her. So she didn't stay on the group. But I was very encouraged when I saw her on the group because she could have added some things that would have been very enlightening for everyone. But anyway, I saw this fellow and I complimented him on the review, and he was like, "Oh yeah, a long time ago. He looks different now." And I said, "You should do." He says, "Yeah, I lost track of her." And I said, "She's still on the internet, man. You should do a follow-up." And I think he's going to do it. And he did a very good interview. It was very respectful. And anyway, so yeah, I think her name is Saïda Desalet, if you want to look her up. A fascinating person, and working on a subject that's going to be in the forefront of what's happening, in my opinion. And it has a lot to do with disclosure. It's going to be kind of concurrent as disclosure and the whole ascension thing goes. This is going to be going with it. And okay, so I'm sure I forgot 6 or 7 different things. KP's off somewhere. I don't know what he's doing. I saw him briefly this morning when he came to see David Wilcock. He definitely wanted to see David Wilcock. So he's a great roommate. We don't get in each other's way, and but we haven't been here much. You could literally spend 16 hours there and not have a quiet moment. If you, I mean, there's something going on, and the vendors are good. The people who put this on deserve a lot of credit, because I actually, Anthony and I kind of did some research on like putting on an event. We're thinking about doing something up in the Sebastopol area, and the sad fact is, or the good fact is that there's a lot of like UFO experiencer type venues, events that on the West Coast. They're all up and down the coast, up in Seattle, down to San Diego, and you could probably go to easily 8 or 10 between the months of, I think, March and September, easily, and most of them are pretty good. This one is excellent. I can see why they call it the Woodstock. They've really done a fantastic job. So except for the Wi-Fi and except for a place to charge your phone. So I'm going to go back and review that other one that I did, and maybe I'll try it again. But trying to do it from the venue itself, the site at Joshua Tree, is pretty rough. So what else? Yeah, it's supposed to be a little warmer tomorrow. I guess that's it. Anyway, I'm having fun meeting all these people. I've met some new people too, and I think that's going to continue. I'm really looking forward to Jacques Vallée on Sunday. I really encourage you to go to the site and and check out all the speakers on there and stuff, and do some of your research on your own. And so Contact in the Desert, Friday night. Thanks everyone for watching. I love you guys. Good night.